the real pandemic. People's dreams are being stolen and faded away because of this pandemic. The government indoctrination camps called the public education system. You're gonna win so big, you're gonna crush your competitors, you're gonna outshine the rest, and you're gonna move up. Kids dream all the time. They dream in Technicolor. We have an epidemic of weak freaking men everywhere. Cryptocurrency that have exploded and people have become overnight millionaires. I've got to get my dreams back. Guys, what are your dreams? Do you dream?
Let's get it now.
Well, guys, welcome to Next Level. It's Burnett here. And today we're going to be talking about the real pandemic. Okay? You know, I'm not talking about the pandemic the fake pandemic, okay, as I like to call it. You know, so we're not talking about getting jabbed. We're not talking about, China viruses. We're not talking about anything like that. We're talking about the real pandemic that is actually hurting more people right now than any sickness, any virus, anything like that. And this pandemic could be affecting you because it's really just infiltrated the culture, this pandemic. This pandemic has become so widespread that people's livelihoods are being affected. People's dreams are being stolen and faded away because of this pandemic. And the pandemic is what I like to call the work ethic pandemic. Okay. People today in the Western world, especially here in the United States, have started to think that work is a dirty word. They really have started to believe and get ingrained in their minds. And I don't know if this is from just brainwashing of the government indoctrination camps called the public education system. I don't know what it is, but I've just noticed that there is a pandemic going on, and it is that people's work ethic is at an all-time low. I believe almost in human history. Okay, we have I don't really know what it looked like in the Roman Empire when they were at their peak and had all this abundance and were dominating the world, and everybody was just partying and subscribing to all the entertainment in the Colosseum and all the things going on. But I think today, it's probably a lot like that, but it's even worse because we have these things right here. People are addicted to this. People are really addicted to being lazy. And, used to in our country, when I think about like my grandfather, both my granddads, who, we like to say came from the greatest generation, laziness back then was looked down upon. A lack of work ethic was kind of shunned and looked down upon. It's like, what the heck's wrong with you if you don't have work ethic and you don't want to work? You don't want to produce. You don't want to go out into the world and give of yourself, of your talents, your gifts, what I can produce or bring to the table, a product or a service that I can offer. Or even if you're working for someone else, people, used to have this attitude of, I want to show up early. I want to stay late. What else can I do? And that was not everybody, but that was the mainstream. And today it's really flipped. But, it's no surprise because a lot of things in our world today have been turned upside down. I mean, the family structure has been turned upside down. It used to be the man, the wife is there to support the man. And I'm not even telling you how it should be. I'm not even going to get into that. I have my own opinions, but that I'm telling you the truth of the way it used to be. Was the man in a family was the head of the family, the authority figure. The wife was the helper, okay, of the man, there to help him fulfill his vision for the family, for his work, for his life. And then you had the children at the very bottom of that structure. And what we've done today is we've turned that upside down. So we've turned, so many things have just been turned upside down. We're living in an upside down world, an upside down culture. Now, the good news is if you can kind of tune all that out and sort through the mess, just sort through all the crap that is this world today, and you can do things in a way that are more efficient, okay? I'm not even going to tell you right or wrong. I'm going to tell you more efficient, things that work, things that are proven over time to take you to another level. If you can do that, then you're going to shine. You're going to win, because it's actually easier to win today than it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. And I know people say, well, inflation and all this stuff. Yes. And then the world's upside down and you got to sort through all the crap. But today you can shine if you're willing to bring to the table a work ethic, okay? I'm going to call it a 1950s work ethic. Okay, if you can take the 1950s work ethic and apply it in 2024, you're going to win so big. You're going to crush your competitors. You're going to outshine the rest, and you're going to move up. I don't care what the minimum wage is. I don't care what inflation is. I don't care what's going on. If you bring to the table a work ethic that is the winning work ethic, you're going to freaking win. And so I really want to challenge people today to look at their situation, look at where they're at in life, look at where you are in your company, where you are in your business, and just say, okay, am I bringing to the table the work ethic that my grandfather or great grandfather would have brought to the table if he was here today? Okay. Because I don't think people really understand the level of work ethic from people like the greatest generation. I don't think people understand the work ethic of people today that go out and start with nothing and become millionaires in this economy. It's interesting. It's not people that were born here in the United States that make up the majority of if we take the top 10 nationalities, we take the top 10 ethnicities that are millionaires in the United States, guys, it's like India, Nigeria, Pakistan, China. Those are your top millionaires here in the United States. Sure, there's old money, but it's people that come here with a freaking work ethic, and all they see is opportunity. All they see is, I got 24 hours in a day. And I'll tell you what a lot of people do that come here as immigrants. They say, okay, I can go work a job, and I don't care if it's entry level. So many people, well, I can't take that job because I'm worth more than that. That can't pay my bills or whatever. No, if you don't have a job, go get a freaking job. Okay. If you're broke, you start with a job, then you start with a side hustle or a business on the side, and you start building something. That's what I did. That's what almost every millionaire you're going to meet, that's what they did. And I don't care if it's $12, $13 an hour. Don't give me this BS about, well, minimum wage is this. Listen, almost any job out there at least pays $12, $13 an hour right now. Okay, so minimum wage is a non-issue discussion. I own restaurants, and I think the person that, no one that works for me in my restaurants or sports bars makes minimum wage. Okay, because I can't get people to work for minimum wage. No one's going to come do that. We got to pay at least $12, $13, $14 an hour just for someone to come wash dishes. We're talking entry level. And then the thing is, you're not supposed to stay there. You're supposed to move up. If you have work ethic, you're going to move up. You're going to be making more money. So what most immigrants do is they come to this country and they get a job, and they might start out at $12 an hour. But they're like, but you know what? I got 24 hours in a day. That's only, 8 hours. They go to their job for 8 hours, and they're like, I've got all this other time in my day. What am I going to do with it? And so some of them will work 2 jobs. Okay. Some of them will work 3 jobs. I remember being in another country in Europe, and we met a cab driver, And he was talking about how he has 3 jobs, and 3 nights of the week he sleeps in his car when he gets done with one of the jobs, and then he's driving a cab starting out the next morning. We just, in America, we have a pandemic. It's an epidemic of laziness and a lack of work ethic. Okay. So I want you to check out of that system. If you want to be part of the 1%, you've got to do what the 1% does. But more importantly, you have to not do what the 99% does. One of my mentors, they said, Jared, look at what everybody else is doing and do the opposite. Okay. You want to win? Look at what the masses are doing. Do the opposite. Everybody's going this way. You go this way. They zig, you zag. You want to really understand how to win, you got to find out what people are doing that are winning. And I'm telling you, they embrace WORK and they love work. Okay. Work is not a dirty word. Work is a gift. Work is a joy. And I'm going to tell you this, especially if you're a man, you know, the first thing that God gave man was his work. Before he gave him a woman, before he gave him anything else, he prepared the garden and then he dropped the man in it and he said, tend the garden. That was his work. And when I talk about your work, I'm not talking even when I say the word work, it's this philosophical thing that I have of, you know, every person here, especially every man, was given work to do that is your assignment, that is your God-given gifts and abilities will be brought out in it, and it will bring you joy. But sometimes people are waiting for that to do their work because they're like, well, I got to go work this job right now and I don't like it. That's okay. If you have the attitude of, I'm going to be the best damn employee, I'm going to show up early, I'm going to stay late, I'm going to give more than is expected. That comes from my business coach. It's just a theme of his life. And he's a multimillionaire. And he says, Jared, my theme of my life is give more than is expected in everything. So if you're ever getting paid for anything and you're getting paid either by the job, by the hour, by the production, what your attitude, let me tell you what a loser attitude is. The losers say, I want to give just enough effort or just enough time, okay, as little as possible to get as much pay as I can. Let me tell you something. If you have that attitude, you're always going to be broke because the universe doesn't respond to that. God does not respond. Blessings don't respond to that. Let me tell you what blessings, the universe is, God designed the universe to respond to, I'm going to give more than is expected. And then all of a sudden things start to being attracted. Doors start to open that you wouldn't even believe. But you have to do this first. And so I want you to understand that you're living in a world where there's this pandemic going on and it's real. And it's an epidemic of laziness. And so the second thing that I see, and you know, it's kind of sad. A lot of people, I'm a Gen X guy. And, you know, then you have the boomers and then you've got, you know, Gen Z. And I know people have some different names for this, millennials, and then Gen Z would be below Gen X, millennials, then Gen Z. And we kind of, you know, those of us that are Gen X and definitely the boomers, you know, talk trash a little bit about the younger generations, millennials, Gen Z. Oh, they're lazy. They don't want to do this and that. But I'm going to tell you, it's kind of sad because we culturally, I believe, from the boomers to Gen X, we kind of passed that down to them. We kind of indoctrinated them into that, okay? And so I think I'm not a big guy about being a victim because it doesn't matter what's happened to you. We all have a background and a story of things that happen, but you have to take responsibility for yourself and decide, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be a winner no matter what's happened to me. But I will say this, there is a little bit of victimhood that is real in the millennial and the Gen Z generation from the culture that is trying to really brainwash them into that's normal, that only working 40 hours a week is normal. No, it ain't. Like 40 hours? Come on. Like what are you doing with the rest of your time? So I think about 40 hours is nothing. Like if you're like, man, I worked hard this week, you work 40 hours, come on. What are you doing with the rest of your time? Are you producing? Are you building something? Are you working on your dream? You see, that's another problem. And I think that's really one of the biggest problems is that people don't have a dream. Kids dream all the time. They dream in technicolor. Okay. And then we start suppressing those dreams and telling them, well, not very many people can do that, or you shouldn't, don't raise your expectations. No, we should encourage people to dream. I want to encourage you to dream. If you haven't dreamed lately, you need to sit down and you need to get a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper and start writing down your dreams, and then start to envision them in technicolor and get so clear. Because, people without dreams, a lot of times are miserable people. People without dreams are people that are bitter. Okay. And what they do, because, hurting people hurt people, is if they don't have a dream, they want to steal your dream. They want to shit all over your dream. They want to suppress. They want to just, throw darts at you in your dream. And so you have to stay away. You've got to stay away from those type of people, because those are the people that, they're lazy themselves. They've caught the disease of laziness. They have been infected, okay, with this what I call it, unwillingness to pay the price. And what's even worse is they don't even think that you should have to pay the price to be successful. They think that success should just come to everybody. Well, if everybody's special, then nobody's special. It's this whole BS of everyone gets a trophy. I was watching at the end of T-ball season. My son Creed, that's 6 years old, and at the end of T-ball season, they didn't have any winners. Nobody's really a winner. Nobody's really loses, and everybody gets this, bullshit medal that they hang around their neck. And I had to explain to my son, like, that's just for participation. They're just giving that to everybody for participating. And it's not really a real, it's not a real medal. It's not a real, you won something. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you something. One of the best things that can happen to children, especially to your kids, if you're a parent, you're a grandparent, you're an uncle, an aunt, one of the very best freaking things that can happen to kids is to lose. Okay, is to lose and to learn to freaking deal with it, and for that to create pain, and because pain leads to hunger. Okay, to overcome that, well, to go do the work to get better so that you can win. It's one of the very best things. One of my mentors, Jim Rohn, he said, one of the best gifts that children can receive is hardship. Things being hard, having to overcome some things and things happening to them. He said, because that's going to breed desire for success. It's going to breed hunger to go out and do the work that it takes to win. So, it's kind of like, there's a saying that says, hard times breed good men. Okay. Hard times create good men. And then good men create good times. But then the problem is then those good times create weak men. Okay. And then those weak men lead to hard times. And so you have this cycle. But I want you to know most of us, if we look at throughout human history, we have grown up in good times. And so and that's why we have an epidemic of weak freaking men everywhere. That they don't see work as a gift and a joy. It's a gift from God, okay, to go produce and to go win and to create the life and the dreams that you have. So, unwillingness to pay the price. That is a huge problem today. What I would tell anyone wanting to be successful, wanting to build a business, wanting to win and take their life to the next level is you have to create this willingness to pay the price and say, I'm going to pay the price and it's going to be a great story. Okay. And I like to say this, 2 years, people that I'm working with in business that I'm mentoring, when they get started, I'll say, listen, you give me 2 years, because in 2 years is nothing. 2 years is going to go by like that. But I see so many people, they jump from thing to thing to thing, where if they would just lock in for 2 years, pay the price, life is going to change. Now, will you achieve your dreams in 2 years? Most of the time, not. Most of the time, no, you're not going to achieve your dreams in 2 years. But see, that's part of the problem. We've been living in this society and this culture that's this microwave society. And you have things like, cryptocurrency that have exploded and people have become overnight millionaires. And now everybody just has this belief, well, that's the way you do it. You just get lucky. You just find this deal and you get lucky and you make a lot of money. That is such a small fraction of the people that have become successful and wealthy. And I would even argue those people that got lucky, I would even argue they were doing things in their life. Okay. Because I believe if you put in the work, you become more lucky. I believe if you do the right thing and treat people right, you become more lucky. I believe if you work harder on yourself than anything else, you become more lucky. Okay. But you can't have this, but you can't expect it. I always say it's the things that happen that are like, oh, well, I got lucky here. And if you're winning and you're working your butt off in business, you will tend to be more lucky and you'll have these things happen. But I call that icing on the cake. I call that manna from heaven. Okay. Like I'm going to go work and I'm building something. And then if it happens faster, if I get lucky, that's icing on the cake. That's manna from heaven. And I'll tell you something else. The Harvard Business School did a study where they studied the happiest people. Okay. And guess what they found out? Do you know who was on the bottom of the list of some of the most unhappy people? Lottery winners. People that had won the lottery and other people that had a financial windfall, okay, where they got lucky. Maybe they inherited all this money, their wealthy grandparent died, they inherited all this money, they won the lottery, things like that. Those were very unhappy, unfulfilled people. Led to a lot of addictions, led to depression, even suicide from all these windfalls that were not earned. Guess who is at the top of the list? Take a freaking guess who is the most happy people in the world. It's called earned success. It's people that have gone out and paid the price. They became successful and their confidence. They're so proud of themselves, okay, for what they did, what they overcame, how they had to fight, how they had to cry and bleed and climb that mountain. And they got to the top. And the reality is there is no top. There's multiple tops. You get to that top of that mountain, you climb that mountain. Well, then there's another mountain to climb. Okay. So, I don't think we ever arrive, but this principle of earned success, the people that have earned their success are the most happy, fulfilled people on the planet. So what I want you to do is I want you to embrace that and say, okay, number one, I got to have a dream. I've got to get my dreams back. Guys, what are your dreams? Do you dream? Do you have a dream? Write them down. I know a guy named Peter Thomas that's an 85-year-old billionaire. And guess what? Today, he's 85 years old. He's a billionaire. He gets up and works out. He's healthy. He has more business ideas. He has pages and pages of dreams that are still yet unfulfilled that he's still adding to that list. Do you have dreams? You see, you got to get a dream. But then you got to say, okay, I'm going to go be willing to pay the price. because this unwillingness to pay the price, to me, it's disgusting. Like, I don't want to associate with people that they want to be successful, they want to win, they want all this, but they're not willing to pay the price. I want people around me that are like, I'm willing to pay the price, and let's go do it together. Okay? Let's go climb this mountain together. Let's encourage each other. Let's spur each other on, okay, to win the race, to keep going. Guys, isn't that what life is about? So, this whole microwave mindset versus the growth mindset. So let's talk about the growth mindset. So there was a study done at Stanford University, and what they found out is people generally operate in this fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Now, let me define the fixed mindset. The fixed mindset is really part of this, kind of fits in with what I'm talking about, the whole, unwillingness to pay the price, laziness, this pandemic, this epidemic of laziness and work ethic pandemic, because the fixed mindset says, oh, I tried that and I'm not good at it. That's what the fixed mindset says. So if we were trying to teach a human being that had never rode a bike before, okay, we're teaching our son to ride a bike right now. But if I'm teaching a human being, let's say an adult that had never ridden a bicycle, and we put them on that bicycle, they get on the bike, they start riding the bike, and they get like two, pedals in, boom, they fall down, they hit their face, they skin their knees up, and they get up and they say, you know what? I'm not good at this. And you know what? Riding a bike is just not my personality. Like I'm not built to ride a bike. I'm not good at it. That is a fixed mindset, because we can all look at that situation and we can say, okay, if you have 2 legs, 2 arms, you're a normal, healthy human being, you can learn how to ride a bike. True or false? True. So will it take some time? Maybe. Does it take some people longer than others? Yes. Will you fall down and skin your knees up? Probably. But if you keep trying, will that person eventually learn how to ride a bike? Absolutely. Guys, a fixed mindset, I want you to apply this to everything in your life. A fixed mindset says, well, I just don't think I'd be good at that. I can't do that. Bullshit. You can do it. Whether it takes a lot of work, a lot of growth, you can freaking do it. But you're going to have to change from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Guess what the growth mindset says? I tried that. It didn't work really well. I fell off the bike. I skinned my knees, but I'm going to try again. And if I keep trying, I'm going to learn how to do this. Guess what else the growth mindset says? Guess what else it says? It says, if I learn how to do it and then I keep doing it, I can even become good. Guess what else the growth mindset says? If I keep doing it long enough, not only will I become good, I can become great. Okay? Well, if I'm willing to put in more time than anyone else on the planet, I can become world class. I can become elite in my field, in my profession, in my trade. Guys, that is the mindset you want to have. I want you to get big dreams. I want you to move from this fixed mindset to the growth mindset, that I'm willing to pay the price. I'm willing to do the things to become great and be the best version of you. It's not about being the best in the world. You may never become the best in the world at what you do. I may never become the best in the world at what I do. I'm going to damn sure try. I'm going to give every effort for the work that God has given me to do, which for me is, it's really based on a scripture out of the book of Isaiah. For me, it's about breaking the yokes and the bondage that people are in and teaching them how to break out of that and become free. Okay, financially, physically, relationally, all of those things, mind, body, spirit. For me, that's my work. Because and I paid the price. I was willing to pay the price. I've achieved a lot of financial success, but I'm not done with my work. I have so much to do. I have so many dreams that are huge. And the only way I'm going to achieve them is by staying in the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. Kill laziness, kill unwillingness to pay the price. You guys, if you will start to adopt this mindset and you'll start to listen to people that are in this mindset, get around people that are in this mindset, it rubs off on you. And that's the only way it's going to happen.